You watch them replays, you pick up so much of them, and this Netherlands side, as we come into game one, has much more of an unknown factor. Sure, they'll have all played against France before, but never as this combination. Sure, Tho and Mike Boy go back as a combination a whole long time, back to the days of MCon, but with Oli as well, never has this three come together like this.
That MCon roster, I'm glad you brought that up, because all they ever did was go up against top dogs like that European Envy/TSM, whatever they wanted to be called, and all they did was beat them when it mattered most. So, you know, the Netherlands, they're used to being underdogs. Can they do it now here in the Intel World Open, or will Team France assert dominance in the opening round of Group B play? Alpha trying to set one up for either Fairy Peak or K-Dop. They kind of got their signals crossed at midfield, so K-Dop has to run back. And Fairy Peak will just delay a little bit, though. Tried to roll that out for Mike Boy, and Alpha just waits him out. Great individual effort to get France out of the defensive end, and K-Dop realized he was beat as soon as he jumped, so he has to bail out.
You see Fairy Peak up there. You mentioned him. He's in the Octane, as we see here. Nice looking. It's always interesting to see what Fairy Peak chooses to pull out the wardrobe on any given day, whether it be a Fennec, an Octane, or maybe a Batmobile. Well, it's Octane today, and it's working out nicely for him, but he won't get the second challenge there. He's backed up by Alpha, though, as France are looking to press through the midfield, but keeping that structure are the Netherlands. Of course, they're being coached by Juicy, previous coach of the likes of Libertas and Wolves, and you guarantee he's trying to do a good job of them, and he'd be over the moon if they can get a huge result here, because this group of death, absolutely all four teams absolutely stacked in here in Group B. That's dangerous, but the one who really shines above is France. When you ask people which two teams that you think are going to get out this group, you'll always get varying answers, but France tends to be the one consistent team that are really the ones with this expectation.
Yeah, Juicy would love to avoid having some time off on his birthday coming up just tomorrow, in fact. Wow. As that ball is deflected right back in, the Netherlands keeping the pressure on Team France. Oli trying to center again, Mike Boy's there, and K-Dop read the play like a book. Another great save, one of many that France have been forced to make. This shot whistles wide. They had the defense beat, but could not get a shot on target. Netherlands will try again. They're going after Fairy Peak. He avoids the contact, still gets the clear started. I mean, they are low on boost across the board and still kept out. Incredible defense out of France.
That's crazy. Fairy Peak off the inside of his own post, but can France really keep it up? The Netherlands are looking hungry for the opener here. Yeah, the double block comes through, but Oli, he has it uncontested. Alpha, he will make the touch now, and everyone talks about Team France's defense. It's not just the fact they make the touches, but that they're so good and the direction to buy as much time as possible for each other. And now you see the effect of it. They're down the other end. They're the ones pressing, but K-Dop, he was backwards, and he's done a great job to get the 50 that he's got in that spot. Oli, he looks to drop on the ball. He gets somewhat of a pinch, and Alpha with the first Dwink goal we've probably seen this whole week, and unfortunately it's on his own net.
Yeah, Oli, I mean, that shot, it's all Alpha can do just to even get a piece of it. Trying to force it up over the corner of the frame, didn't quite get there. The Netherlands strike first against France. Boy, every game, every second of the action so critically important here in Group B, because incremental advantages are going to be the entire difference between, say, getting second place and being third, which means you're out of the Intel World Open. Oli with a save. More importantly, over towards Mike Boy, but Fairy Peak stayed with it. Set up for Alpha, and Tho is there. Great read on the play. And now it's the Netherlands' turn to have to play lockdown defense, as France had to for a good minute a moment ago.
Yeah, they're starting to do it, aren't they? That's a chance for the Netherlands, is that they really have got that lockdown defense. They're trying to, but I say that, they've got no defense at all. The less I talk about this attempted save, probably the better. K-Dop is gonna claim the credit for it. I didn't want to see the Netherlands sit back, because if you sit back, all it really takes is one mistake, and that was quite the little mistake from Tho.
Yeah, Tho, it kind of drifting over towards that boost. It hadn't even spawned at that point. It did right after he turned around. But because he was not ready for that shot to come in, could not react in time, similar to Alpha. So, we're all back to square one here.
Oh, that's another chance. It just doesn't quite open up, though. You see, we get these shots in the midfield. We're like, hang on a minute, is it opening up for the Netherlands? And then every time there's a France player there and suddenly shutting the door, and I would say slamming the door at times. But whether they're going to be able to keep that up and not slip up the way the Netherlands did is the question we're going to have to answer as we're deep into this first game. And we're still all tied here as Netherlands do try and link up on the counter, and Oli is going to force the save, but the save is made, no problem. Alpha, he will look to interrupt here, and he's able to claim possession and just take it past two players seemingly effortlessly. And France, when they look in control, they look so confident as forcing another save. That's a savior medal for Mike Boy.
Alpha launching another downfield, waiting for a mistake out of the Netherlands, though nearly delivered one actually. But Oli with a great win forces Alpha all the way back, and Alpha makes sure to get that corner boost, make sure it didn't get stolen away from them. France looking for one more at the death, and we go to overtime after a blistering shot from K-Dop.
Can the Netherlands really recover from that potential mistake that could prove so costly? It'd be so frustrating if they give up this overtime after just one slip up on the defense. They really want to get off on the front foot against this France side, who are here as favorites in the group. It would be huge. You talk about game differential. Forget this first game. They could go on to take the whole series if they can take just one. But France, they are looking dangerous right now. But K-Dop, he doesn't very quite read the crossbar quite right, I should say, ceiling, and he's not got the shot away. It's now a counter-attack for the Netherlands, and Tho, will he get the demo? No, he's just going to recover.
I've seen France forced to play the ball along their own backboard quite a bit by this Netherlands side, but here's a great pass out in front, a better save made by Tho. Savior medal for him, less than a minute into overtime, and he's made another save as well. Tho standing tall defensively for the Netherlands, trying to bring him downfield. Oli flip reset, and Alpha made him alter the shot just enough. And the defense of France holds strong again, but now another bank just off the mark. Works out for the Netherlands, no. Alpha with another stop, and this should be a big booming clear. It is past Oli, and France holds the door yet again.
So difficult for Tho there. It bounced straight down towards him, but it was at him more than it was. He couldn't really run onto it, couldn't generate the pressure, and that was the shot that it was going to have to be it. France, oh, that was dangerous across the front of goal here, but I want to know how many saves the Netherlands have made this game. But equally, both defensive have really shown up here, and they are the ones making the difference and keeping it at just the 2 goals after so much offense and defense. It's back and forth, and you see it's out into the middle. This time it's a savior medal for Alpha here. As this, I mean, if this keeps up, Stacks, we could be here all day.
Well, France is used to playing some lengthy overtimes. They have done so in the past. Mike Boy just watching as though could not center. Big demolition. Fairy Peak redirect to at least delay that a little bit. And then Alpha came in to save the day. Boy, you talk about doing just enough. It's a dangerous, dangerous game to play for France, but it's the play Fairy Peak had to make, and it works out to keep this game going.
Best back pass of the tournament so far.
Right?
Also the most terrifying here is the Netherlands. They're still looking hungry. In fact, the double from Mike Boy won't quite find the mark though. Alpha, he's going to try and get it down the line, but you see usually a player so confident to bait the player in. He plays that one fast, ends up just getting dunked, and Oli was the one who won that duel, and it's going to keep and help the Netherlands still try and maintain possession. It's just that Alpha, now he pulls the reverse card. He's got that and a double commit maybe from the Netherlands. In fact, he wins the race to the ball, does Tho over K-Dop, but no clean-cut chance for Oli. Fairy Peak shuts it down, and we play on.
Upwards of 10 saves for the Netherlands in this opening game, and I'm sure many more for the French side as Alpha makes yet another. Mike Boy going to take his time. He was afforded lots of it. Now Mike Boy to center again, trying to get Fairy Peak, and again Fairy Peak nimbly avoids contact. Got the clear again. Temporary reprieve for the French as they try to break out of their zone again. Another great pass, this time for Tho, and again saved as Fairy Peak had to guess, and he guessed right.
Fairy Peak, the wall right there, but not only that, he was a moving wall. Bring on the wall, said Fairy there, as he just gets the back-to-back blocks as Netherlands, they're still the ones pressing, they're still the ones aggressing, but they cannot get the breakthrough here. All 3 players so close, so structured, but it is gonna matter. Mike Boy, the Avenger, comes back and takes out Fairy Peak on what was an open net that he didn't have the boost to catch up to.
Oh, but Alpha and Fairy Peak try to combine on another play. They can't. Oh, man, a game-saving demo, maybe a series-saving, maybe tournament-saving demo when all is said and done. remember that moment way back in game 1 once we get to tomorrow and have all the groups sorted. Here goes Alpha, trying to get over Mike Boy.
Oh,
and he got a piece of him at least, but Tho is there for the stop for the Netherlands. And that forces France back to the drawing board yet again.
Hang on.
This is dropped down in front. Mike Boy sailed one high. And all he can do is delay. And the Netherlands might actually be able to keep the attack going. It looked like they were all going to kind of bail out for boost. But that one touch from Oli kept them in business. Now finally Fairy Peak with a clear, but it goes right to Oli. He just gave it away. And a chance for the Netherlands, looking for a double, and Alpha stopped him.
Such a big clear and such a much needed clear as well there from Alpha. It was a huge chance for Mike Boy on the net that was begging, but he had to focus on just reaching the ball, and getting over it was a second and an afterthought really, but the crossbar, it was bound, and France got away with that one there. But how long can they keep it up? It's such good defense they're showing at times, but this is a ball given up to Mike Boy, up to Oli, except he's absolutely sent it across on Fairy Peak. He just collects it. What can France do with that? In fact, he's sent it super long as well, really trying to waste out the boost of the opposition sides. Are both teams here. That's a direct shot, and it's a touch that's dangerous. Tho, he can't reach it. It's so well placed. 5 minutes, 11 seconds. Fairy Peak, he plucks this ball right into the bottom corner.
Wow. The test of endurance won by Team France. You could see the defender just stuck there in the center of the goal. Wanted to come out and challenge, but made the decision a little too late, and just that split second of indecisiveness cost them. And we can see something you guys can't. The numbers here are just goofy.
They're eye-watering. It's 23. My maths is checking out here. 23 shots from the Netherlands. 1 goal they have to show for it. I'm really looking forward to Octane GG. I want to see their shot percentage be below 5% so far. But it's so painful, right, Stacks? You have to feel with the mistake that ended up being made.
Yep.
Could have taken that one in regulation.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, there are so many opportunities though in that overtime as well, and that's what's so great about Rocket League. You know, there's no set overtime. We don't play like 2 minutes and then just stop and you're like, okay, well, let's go back to a kickoff. It's just continuous, and it becomes just that battle of endurance. You know, who has the mental fortitude to keep things going? Who can get that last shot to finally crack the defense? It was Fairy Peak and Team France. Teams combined for 25 saves over those 10 minutes plus. And now we get to do it again with a fresh 5 minutes on the clock.
Absolutely crazy. That's a save just over every 20 seconds or so. But you have to feel the longer that overtime went on, you would have always put your money on Team France, even if they weren't fully convincing at times. And there was shaky moments. The team with so much experience, like you say, especially in long overtimes, in pressure like this, the Netherlands, they're going to just be thinking about what could have been, and they can't afford that because they need to focus here on this game too.
Yeah, that's got to be the toughest part for the Netherlands, because a win after a long overtime like that, it can feel like it's worth 2 wins when you factor in the momentum. Mike Boy, though, got the double on target, and Fairy Peak had to just get a piece of that to roll it back out. Boy, the defense out of Team France has been stellar. Another one stuffed by K-Dop. It barely registered as a shot. He got there so fast.
We don't even know if that double touch from Mike Boy was on target. He did such a good job getting the angle down, but the fact that Fairy Peak had it completely covered as well, it's got to do a number on the mentality of the Netherlands when it just feels like the ball will not go in. Despite 3 players being up for that ball from France, they get it away. No problem. K-Dop running the gauntlet here into the corner. It flies out, and Fairy Peak will get the touch. It's down towards K-Dop, and even though he can't turn that goal bound, it's really disruptive and annoying for Netherlands, stifling their counter-attack. But will it end up mattering? It's off the backboard, and it's dangerous but cleared again.
Alpha will dribble this through. You know, of course, who's really got to be kind of sweating a little bit is Germany and Saudi Arabia, who have to somehow find a way to follow up this match the way it started. They're our next match as we conclude round 1 of Group B, the Group of Death. Very aptly named. You're probably understating it at that point, just how loaded this group is. As Fairy Peak will dish that off to the corner, try to get to it himself, but Tho got there first. Very ambitious play out of Fairy Peak, and it may have cost them, but again, Alpha with another good stop. And the Netherlands will not keep the attack going after Oli whiffed.
Oh, but the demo should disrupt and allow them to keep possession there. This is going to be out into the midfield, but the 50 comes through. This is another second race to that ball. It's back off the ceiling again. These two teams so closely matched when it comes down to an individual level. Tho with the craziest and most outrageous of pre-jumps.
Oh my goodness.
Zero respect shown. A whole lot of disrespect from Tho, and it's going to get the Netherlands into the lead.
K-Dop goes up the wall, ready to play this along the ceiling. They realize, wait a minute, he's up? Are you kidding me? Okay, I guess he's just up for that. Netherlands on top.
That was crazy. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Tho. He's actually there, coming straight for that ball. And what a play. The confidence and audacity to pull that one off is exactly what Netherlands needed here. You do worry for them if they conceded first in this second game after an overtime, a gut-wrenching one. Like that, it would have been really hard to take on the Chen, but they've responded so well here, and now the ball is back in France's side of the court.
Netherlands had a lead in game one. It did not last very long before K-Dop got a screamer into the net. I believe it was Tho unable to react in time to. Of course, that answered a shot that Oli kind of surprised Alpha with. Here goes Mike Boy, looking for insurance and finding none as Fairy Peak makes the stop. Corner boost, I believe actually taken by France, and then the demolition, but Oli couldn't get around for the shot. He could not take advantage of the opportunity, and Netherlands kind of leave one on the table as Alpha rolls one across, and another good stop by the Netherlands.
That's huge there, Oli. He had boost to go for that ball straight away. He'd be sitting wondering why he didn't. He had about 40 in the tank, but he was worried that the defender, I think it was Fairy, still on the backboard, could get across and make that touch. It's not going to matter. They will have their 2-goal lead. No regrets whatsoever. Mike Boy with an absolute crazy back-to-back set of 50s here. He's going to beat Fairy Peak clean to that one. And Oli, well, he couldn't even get to the ball to steal it.
You don't see Fairy Peak slow to the ball very often. That time just a touch too slow, but he may get it back on the kickoff. No, Oli with the stop on Fairy. And the Netherlands, they've increased their lead to 2, but Alpha got to the ceiling and Tho's having none of it. Tho just has no respect at all for this French side. Just go right after them. Don't let them get anything set up. Everything to shoot at, and Oli put it right at K-Dop. Here come the French. Fairy Peak looking to get one on the board. Got to bring it back to center. Does so, and Alpha can't get past Mike Boy.
Such a difficult shot for Oli, though. You think it's completely clean and uncontested, but K-Dop, he was stood there and very, very tall. It could have been 3-0. The game could have been written off, but the Netherlands, they still need to hold on to finish this one off. K-Dop, he couldn't make that touch on the offense there. It's now a counter-attack for the Netherlands. They don't need the goal. They just need the ball deep in the French side of the field, but they're trying to run it back down. A beautiful lead from Fairy. He lets it to K-Dop, and K-Dop slams it home. Stacks, we are back within one.
Whenever you need one, just go to the GOAT. K-Dop adds yet another. France is right back in it. Critical for the Netherlands to hold on here, try and tie up this best of 5 here in the group stage. This neutral kickoff, though, goes to Tho. Alpha's got to get there in a hurry, and does. You can see France kind of trending downfield just a little bit, trying to throw caution to the wind. K-Dop gets blocked. Maybe a chance for the Netherlands, but Fairy Peak falls in. Down to 10 seconds. Tho got to buy time. They took Alpha off the field. That just means he gets to come back for free, and he spawned in ball side. That makes things awkward. 1 second left. Got to get this in the air. They don't, and the Netherlands tie the series.
Oh, that was so tense. They had a number of chances as well. It could have been 3. It could have been 4, and the amount of regret they'd have had if they had another game fall by the wayside. But massive credit to them, right? They lost that over game length overtime against this French side, and they've bounced back to tie up the series. France were probably hoping that that overtime would see off the nerves from the Netherlands and just be a nice cruise in comparison from there, but they have more than a fight on their hands. And you talk about the group of death being an understatement. I don't know how we can say death is an understatement. The group of the afterlife, maybe? I'm not sure. It would be heaven, though, to get out of this group in the top 2. In the Netherlands, they're making a case to try and do just that.
The two teams combined for 37 shots in game 1. Only a disappointing 14 between them. Wow. 7 apiece. Come on. Pick up the pace, boys. Let's go.
It does help when you have a game's worth of overtime to be...
Yes, Yes. Go play another game's worth of overtime.
All right.
I'm not in any hurry to go anywhere.
No, I mean, this is a beautiful series. I'd love to see more overtime as well as we head into this crucial Game 3 here between France and Netherlands. Of course, following this is the other Group B match, Saudi Arabia against Germany, but we're not talking about that. We're here right now, and I think it's going to be a kickoff goal, and the Netherlands, they have the lead in the series after just 3 seconds here. Huge that they keep up this momentum.
Yeah, K-Dop trying to get around, trying to guess where that ball was going to go, and it's got to be so tough to kind of predict on the kickoff, and he just ends up going right around. Didn't get any contact on the cheater coming up from the Netherlands either. Here goes France trying to answer right back in kind. Ferry Peak got the shot on, and Tho is right there for it, trying to delay a little bit, and did enough for Alpha to get a look, but could not get a touch. And France will have to play from behind right out of the starting blocks in Game 3.
They haven't had too many goals this series as a whole, have France. Of course, they got the 2 in the first game, but you have to say one of them was a bit of a donation that ended up happening in the Netherlands. It's weird to say that they feel like they've been on top, but their shot count has been ridiculous, and they're really putting themselves in the driver's seat here of the series with that kickoff goal. I don't care if it's not pretty, it's really going to force the best out of this French side, because unfortunately, if they don't come up with their best, it's not going to cut it. They're trying to force it through here, but now we see the equally strong defense out of the Netherlands.
Ferry Peak will take this to the corner himself, but he let it get away from him a little bit, and there's Alpha, who's had to put in a lot of work in the midfield and defensively. He has not scored yet. He's the only player on the pitch without a goal, but he does have 2 assists and numerous saves, especially in that lengthy first game, to keep France in contention here. This is send it though for Oli, and he had to back off as Ferry Peak was all over. I mean, you see how quickly Team France moves, Tylacto, and it's just, I think it puts into perspective how good the Netherlands have had to play to tie up the series and get the advantage early in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're certainly thriving off the situation as well. How exciting it is to play France first and have the opportunity to be hugely up in the group with that game out the way. A win here would be huge, and Germany and Saudi Arabia, they'd be sat there like, wait, does that mean we have to beat France too? And then in the French side of things, they'd be wondering how they need to get out of the group as well themselves, as they're struggling here. Are the European RLCSX champions on the defensive end? Alpha has to make a save for them here. They've still got 3 minutes on the clock, but this is not where they want to be. They're trying to break out, but Mike Boy with another great 50 here. He's looking for the bump. He's going to find it. In fact, Oli didn't really expect the bump to come through like that. You see him trying to dunk Ferry's touch, but Ferry, he got hit a long way away from making that one.
Alpha with a good win, but he can't get that midfield boost. You can see he was trying to use his boost to get ahead just a little bit. But the defense of the Netherlands comes through yet again. Halfway mark, still 1-0 to the Netherlands. But for how much longer? Tho with a critical touch. And K-Dop has to watch as Oli will dribble. Mike Boy couldn't take out K-Dop, and as a result, the Dop makes the save.
It's an incredible save from K-Dop. We all know how impossible it is to save them air dribble bumps, and somehow K-Dop just became one with the crossbar there, slipped on by Oli, and got it cleared, not just out of the goal, but away from the goal and along the goal face, and it's gonna keep France in this game. 2 minutes on the clock, but Netherlands, they know how good that 2-goal lead felt last time, and they want it again, but Alpha, he will deny it for now. The bumps coming through from Mike Boy again. This man is violent. Someone needs to contain him. Tho is going to get the ball away from the offense here. He's going to do a great job of getting it past as well. France really on the back foot here. They're going to get possession, but they have to build from the back again.
And once again, a player spawning ball side off a demolition while the ball's in your own half. That's got to be incredibly awkward for France. Did not soil things too much for the French defense. But now they've got to rush back. Ferry Peak making sure to grab the midfield boost. Alpha grabs his own corner as well. Here goes K-Dop. 1-on-2. Got it centered. And Alpha couldn't get a quality shot off as Tho gets another save and another Savior medal.
Such a whip of the ball into the box from K-Dop there. It was almost too powerful for his teammate to really get around and control the shot off. So Netherlands, they will be able to deal with that. No problem here. Who is going to win the race to this second ball? It will be Alpha. The Netherlands here accepting to be on the back foot. They're going to try and hold and see it out. Maybe get one on the counter-attack in the final minute of Game 3 here at the Intel World Open. Tho, he's looking to try and do it, but Alpha, he blocked that one well and truly on the wall. Vitality, I should should say. France now, they're going to control this and control possession, but you see, they just have to hit that one away, and it's sent right back at them. They try and make the read, it's out and it's dangerous. Mike Boy will get the shot, but somehow it won't go through cleanly. It's back towards him. Netherlands, they stay just the one in front.
That just makes things even worse going forward. Fairy Peak trying to slide through the defense, and K-Dop scores yet again. Captain Clutch comes through.
Huge from K-Dop, the man again, but the patience from Fairy there. It's so slow and patient that Mike Boy, even though he gets the block, he can't generate any power on it. He can't get around it. It just pops out into the middle. So smart from Fairy here, and how important could that be? And the final standings, you referenced it earlier, how much each and every single goal can mean right now. It's 1-1 in the series, 1-1 in the game here, and we might have another overtime that we asked for.
Yeah, Tho was waiting for that corner boost, had to avoid a demolition, but here goes K-Dop. His shot's going to be deflected wide by Mike Boy. Now they're a little jammed up in the corner. K-Dop to keep it alive. Netherlands have got to be trying to ground this, and France is having none of it. Now finally swatted by Mike Boy. We'll have our second overtime in 3 games. Last time it took 5-11 to get a game winner. How long will we go here?
Over or under? That's the vote we need in chat right now. Less or more than 5 minutes 11. Seems crazy, the thought of having another one. I feel like the odds are it certainly will be less, but I have no complaints regardless as Netherlands. They are looking hungry, but that demo from Fairy reminding who's on top here. But he spawns in time anyway, but it's actually really awkward. A disaster of a spawn for Mike Boy. How unlucky is this for the Netherlands? It's come off the backboard here. He spawns, doesn't make the touch, comes off his butt, and Fairy just puts it away. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yep. The only RNG in Rocket League. Where do you spawn? And it comes back to bite the Netherlands. France does it again. Fairy Peak does it again with an overtime winner. And now it is France on match point. All 3 games going to just a 2-1 scoreline so far. Man, what an appetizer for what's to come here in Group B.
That was crazy. I still feel bad for Mike Boy, but you have to say he didn't have to jump initially, and he could have backflipped to get the ball out of a shooting angle there. A bit of a panic. It's not a nice experience to spawn in and see the ball flying straight at you. It's just he didn't quite deal with it well enough. You see it here. He's like, oh hang on a minute. Someone's just walked in. I was still getting my pajamas on, and unfortunately, he's going to have to go back to bed in terms of that game. 2-1 is the series. You talk about every game being 2-1 so far. Is that going to be the same in game 4?
Yeah, you know what else Mike Boy could have done when I think it was Tho had a breakaway down the field. He could have taken out K-Dop. I don't even know if he tried, and K-Dop was able to avoid that. It was kind of a breakaway opportunity for the Netherlands that he stopped and kept that just a 1-goal game that France ultimately comes back and wins in the end. We go to game 4. Do or die now for the Netherlands to keep this series going against the favorites on paper, France, and they're hungry for goals early on.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see as a fan of the Netherlands if you are, but credit to them. I believe that we've already seen them bounce back after game 1, and that was a tough one to bounce back from. It's just they need to do it again here. They have to do it again here. France, they do not want to let them though. His touch is going to be a donation to Alpha. Nowhere else to play that ball as Fairy. He may be sideways, but he takes the... Never mind. He's dead. And that ball will go to the Netherlands, though. He's going to have a chance. He will have a flick on target, and he will force out the save.
Demolitions, by the way, thank you to Craftman for pointing this out. 18-5 in favor of the Netherlands. Oli and Mike Boy have 9 and 7 demos respectively.
Wow.
They have tried to play this series 3-on-2 as much as they possibly can, and France still has a lead in the series.
Guaranteed they've seen it before, though. Absolutely. When they've got such a famed and solid defense, they'll be used to teams trying to break it down by sheer force. As that shot going to hit the crossbar from Mike Boy. A tough shot, but for a player of his caliber, he'd be looking back at that as a big chance, as it's a big chance now for France. But Mike Boy, he makes the save on the defensive end. Make amends, and we stay here at 0-0.
Oli dancing through the air, couldn't get the flip reset past K-Dop. Now Mike Boy tried to drop one down in front for the defense to take over. Problem is, Alpha did instead. And now Alpha from the ceiling. One more to beat Oli. No, he made the save. Incredible play from Alpha. Better center play out of Oli, and we remain scoreless, and now he's coming back for more. Next time it's K-Dop, and the stop made by Mike Boy.
Absolute pinball around the Netherlands net there. Oli and his crossbar somehow keeping it out, and the clean sheet stays intact for now for the Netherlands here. They're trying to break that of the French, but the shot, Oli up so fast, but too fast for his own good, and he's not going to be able to turn that one on target as they try and build. Alpha is up. He needs a crazy 50, but Mike Boy, the man of the demos, he's not been losing 50s either here as that physical play comes true.
I don't know how he made that save. I thought he was beaten oh so badly.
Me too.
I apologize for having no faith, Oli. My gosh. Here goes Tho against Fairpeak. Got by him, but there's K-Dop with the stop, and he stopped Mike Boy as well. K-Dop getting it done on both halves of the field. France working hard on all sides of the field to keep this scoreline intact.
Whoa.
Keep the lead, perhaps. K-Dop tried to wait out Oli, and he still made the save.
It takes such confidence to do under pressure. You have to and love to see it out of K-Dop there. That drop down, also dangerous from Alpha. It would have been a highlight reel goal, but the patient fake from K-Dop was nearly just as satisfying. But still, this Netherlands defense holds on, and Fairpeak is going to be over to collect that ball from K-Dop, but he will not find the touch, and France, I'm sure they're used to being shut out for a long time, but it really is frustrating when a team starts to pull out seemingly miraculous defense at times, and they need to make sure they keep their cool. That is disgusting from K-Dop. You talk about disrespect out of Tho. Watch this. That's disgusting.
That concludes our moment of silence for the defense of the Netherlands.
I need to go get a bucket.
Wow. K-Dop, 4 goals in 4 games, and every single one has been oh so important. As this one goes through again, every game going 2-1, one way or the other. This gets France started in that direction. So, gonna have to take this himself, needs one more touch. Oh, great dish off to Oli, and a blistering shot saved by Alpha.
How is Alpha allowed to make that save? I feel like the bump was coming through, but it didn't come through soon enough, and now down the other end very soon. France were trying to double down on their advantage here as the Netherlands. They've had their chances, but the defense continues to come through from Team France. It's sent long, but it's not on target. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Alpha is back, and he's got the ball past 2. He's got himself a 1v1. He's looking for the musty flick there, but Oli, no problem, sends it away to the side. It is so good as the offense from France nearly landing back into that ball. Fairpeak France are looking just as dangerous.
Oli on that play kind of made a fake challenge and turned back to get one last look in front of the net. Brilliantly done, and again, nerves of steel out of the Dutch. Trying to center here, and this is thrown across. Another one thrown netward on the Netherlands side. Sent away again. Though, against K-Dop. K-Dop wins that most of the time. Netherlands have to break out of their zone with 20 seconds left. Tho got it on target and scores!
The angle from Tho there was just fantastic. It just passing her out from Mike Boy. The reverse angle there, the side flip timed so well. Fairy and Alpha, they're looking silly there. Went straight back to net, and it went straight over their head. What a late equalizer. We saw it out of France in the previous game. This time it's the Netherlands trying to force us to overtime.
Looking like another 2-1 scoreline, Tylacto. Here we go. Alpha. Will he do it in regulation? Not this time, as Tho makes the save. 7 seconds left. Oli gonna take this as they break out in formation. Only one to beat, but the one is Fairpeak, and you lose that every time. Another OT between the Netherlands and France.
And France get the next goal. They tie themselves up at top in the group. And we talk about game differential, huge. Even if Netherlands get this game and force it to game 5, they'll be wanting more if they get there, of course, but they need to focus on this overtime right now as Mike Boy focuses on his pass down. Oli pinches it with the ground so far, so ridiculously hard that it turns out being more like a rugby conversion. As off that same backboard, Fairy, he is going to clear it across towards K-Dop, but the dunk comes through early. Netherlands, they're looking to try and catch France out here. They need to keep their guard up.
Oli to the side, and K-Dop just stalled him. He didn't even have to touch the ball to just make him slam the brakes and go, okay, we'll try something else.
the sort of impact though, when you just see the player coming and it has that mental effect on you and you like didn't get to do what you wanted. It suddenly feels like that power and control is out of your grasp, but trying to take it back into his hands is Fairy. He runs that round and just settles with the boost steal. He does get the dunk across here, but Netherlands will collect the ball through Oli, and he gets it past Fairy. He's looking for the delayed touch. The shot, it comes through. Mike Boy sends us to game 5.
All because Oli didn't actually touch this. Look at Oli here. Just, you have to respect the shot coming in if you're the French defenders. And as a result, Mike Boy gets a little extra time, and that's less reaction time for the French. And Netherlands force game 5.
K-Dot there, he was trying to intercept that if the extra touch came through, like you said, as we got a dog walking behind us. Hello, doggy. Who's going to win game 5? He says he's not sure. He says he's not sure.
Well, he went to the left, and Netherlands is on the left, so I believe Zeffie has it.
But he's walking back to the right.
Netherlands, okay.
we can't get a camera on this.
I got it. The Netherlands are going to score first, then France is going to score, just like every other game in this series.
2-1? 2-1 win for France in game 5.
Absolutely, and he's hanging over here on the right side, so I think Zeffie's got France.
I respect that theory here. As Zeffie, the dog, he is the expert here right now. Get us off the panel, really. It could be a 2-1 win for France in game 5. Clearly, we have to ask him about all the other series if he gets this one right. Now, the pressure, though, and it's so frustrating for K-Dot. We talked about that winning goal. He was expecting that touch out of Oli, right? He was trying, and his car was facing that way, and when it didn't come through, that's what allowed the uncontested shot from Mike Boy. And 2 players back or not, that top shelf shot from that point-blank range, they were never keeping that one out.
Well, just as Punxsutawney Phil is not exactly 100% on his predictions, the Netherlands fans will be hoping that Zeffie goes 0 for 1. As we kick off game 5. Crucial here in Group B. What a start to this group in the Intel World Open.
It's game of the day so far for me. It's a dangerous shot, but another good save from Oli. We've already seen some defensive miracles out of him this series so far. It's going to need to keep up if Netherlands are going to keep their defense tight and well knitted, I should say, in this decisive game. But no, K-Dop, he's seen that before. He prefers sewing. He's trying to get it around off the corner. He does force it out into the midfield. Alpha's there. The bounce off the backboard. France are going to score first. Zeffie, he's already wrong here. Netherlands are on the back foot.
It's a rare case where Fairy Peak scores the first goal for the French. He's usually the one scoring the ultimate game winner. But this time, France on top in regulation. And the Netherlands, just as they did in game 4, will have to chase this one from the back. Here goes Tho to center for Mike Boy, who is all the way across getting boost. There's a decent pass, but Mike Boy wasn't ready for it, so the Netherlands still have to regroup. Now Mike Boy is ready, and he can start him downfield. He got spun out.
The last 2 games have been late equalizers for both teams. Whether we'll see the same, who knows? There's still 4 minutes to work with here. Maybe we won't see a 2-1. That would be absolutely crazy. Surely that won't be the case here.
The twistiest of plot twists.
That would be I'd get mental whiplash from that, honestly. That'd be crazy as you see the crazy 50 from K-Dop. Not crazy enough to find the back of the net. It's sent across here, and the Netherlands looking to try and shut them down again.
It'll be Mike Boy circling around in front. Oli's still way downfield. Now Mike Boy trying to get around K-Dop. Good luck. But now Tho, his shot on. Easily saved by Fairy Peak, but watch the rebound. It's often the second or third chance as Tho sails one well to the corner. And Alpha with a good pinch downfield. That buys France all the time they need.
And Oli's done a good job getting that past the first man, but he needs to do more here. He's alone with little support. He's trying to get it past K-Dop, who slams the door at 50 back to Alpha. He's rotated back, and he's got some boost to work with, but there's no way he's getting this past Tho. A lovely touch from him down to Mike Boy, but you see that challenge from Alpha anyway. He still gets a touch. K-Dop's going to make it awkward for Tho, who has to buy lots of time here, uses all of his boost, keeps it close to him, and you see none of France wanted to challenge that. It was always going to be an unfavorable 50 for them, and well dealt with from both sides. It's back into the corner. Netherlands, maybe. Yes, they do. Very good medal there from Oli to not expect the challenge, and he just expected the fake, controls it, and gets the Netherlands back on the front foot.
We have not seen many goals go unanswered throughout this series. Even the overtime winners seem to have an answer in the following game, but there is no next game after this one. Game 5. Somebody goes to 3 points in the group. 3 very crucial points for the group that also features Germany and Saudi Arabia, set to play whenever we get a winner here. Another big clear from the French as the Netherlands have to go the length of the field yet again. 2 minutes to go. No panic, but an opportunity to tie, stuffed out by Alpha.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of not getting too impatient. They could really chase this game and leave themselves open to counter-attack, but they're not doing that. They know they can get the late equalizer because they've done it before. We've had 2 minutes goalless here in this Game 5, and there's just under 2 minutes still to play. France looking to take their crown at the top of the group. Of course, they won't take it on game difference technically so far, but a huge win for them to get on the cards to start open up the day on the right note. K-Dop will try and do it with this 50 here, but he's shut down early again.
Oli forced that ball through, but nobody had any faith. Nobody down in front for him, but this time they are. So, around one, and cannot get through Fairy Peak.
It's tense, it's tense. So many low boost 50s there from the Netherlands, but they're doing such a good job of keeping this pressure up. But France, the team that probably looks the most comfortable, even when they're all 3 players shut around their own penalty box. And you see they force Netherlands all the way back here. Though he's the one boostless now. It's up from Oli, who's got the ball, and he's going to have to try and get the block as well. Alpha really wins out on that one, but neither team wanting to commit to the ball too heavily. So maybe the bump will come through, but it cannot get past the last man. Fairy with a very important bump, and I say block. And we're into the final minute here, Stacks, and slowly but surely the Netherlands are running out of time.
They're running out of time, but the chances are looking better and better. Oli had to abort the flip there and could not get the pass centered. He had no boost to work with. Alpha trying to screen Tho off the play, and now he does get this ball centered off the ceiling, but again, well read by Alpha. Mike Boy all the way back to try and reset the Netherlands, but K-Dop brings another in, and he cannot get past K-Dop, can Tho, but now Oli will try. And he combines with Mike Boy, but that's a little wide, and that is going to cost him a little more than time as well. They've got to get boost and positioning. Oli now with a drive, it's just wide. Mike Boy still has a chance, 5 seconds left. Netherlands have to score here. Fairy Peak off the pitch, and another clear by Alpha. Mike Boy's got a dribble, he can't, and France survives the Netherlands.
What a shutout from France under pressure here. They were